Hello students, now this is second cervical vertebra, axis vertebra. The identifying feature of this vertebra is that you can see this dens or odontoid process, which is a tooth-like process projecting upward from the body of this second cervical vertebra. Dens is believed to be the centrum of the first cervical vertebra, that is atlas, which is detached and fused with this second cervical vertebra. So atlas, it rotates around its lost body. You can see superior surface is also encroached by this articulating facet, superior articulating facet, which articulate with the inferior articulating facet of the atlas to form lateral atlanto-occipital joint, while the medial atlanto-occipital joint is formed by this dens with the posterior surface. This is the pivot variety of synovial joint. Now on each side you can see this is pedicle and these are foramen transversarum. This foramen transversarum is somewhat overlapped by this superior articulating facet, and this is the transverse process which is rather ending into a tubercle and not the four parts as we have seen with the typical cervical vertebra, that is anterior tubercle, anterior root, posterior tubercle, posterior transverse part. It's not so here, it is just ending into a tubercle. The spine is bifid and it ends into two rough tubercles. The lamina are quite thick and stronger. Now inferior surface, you can see this inferior aspect of the body, it is projecting downward, and here you can see inferior articulating facets. Now coming to the attachment of this vertebra, dens at its apex, it gives attachment to apical ligament of dens, and on each side it gives attachment to the alar ligament, which are projecting like this. So alar ligament, and at the apex apical ligament of dens. Posteriorly these dens articulate with the transverse ligament, which is bridging the gap between the tubercle on medial aspect of the atlas here. So dens articulate with transverse ligament as well as with the posterior surface of arch of the atlas vertebra to form pivot variety of synovial joint. Now here the posterior surface of body, it gives attachment to the membrana tectoria, posterior longitudinal ligament. Anteriorly it gives attachment to anterior longitudinal ligament. On each side there is attachment of longus colli. The spine here, it gives attachment to ligamentum nuchae. Then on this side there is rectus capitis posterior major, which is the muscle of this suboccipital triangle. Then here there is attachment of the obliquus capitis inferior. Again there is attachment of the semispinalis cervicis. The tip of the transverse process gives attachment to levator scapulae. Then here splenius cervicis is attached. So this is about this second cervical vertebra. Now coming to the seventh cervical vertebra or vertebra prominens. This vertebra prominens, here you can see the foramen transversarium is present, but it quite smaller than the typical cervical vertebra. So this is smaller as compared to typical cervical vertebra. It is having this thick spinous process, but it is not bifid as typical cervical vertebra. In typical cervical vertebra, you can compare it here, that while the seventh cervical vertebra, this spinous process is strong, long and nearly placed horizontal, and it ends into a tubercle. And this is an important surface landmark to count the vertebrae on the posterior aspect of the spine. Foramen transversarium, though it is present, the vertebral artery is not passing from it. So you can see here vertebral artery, which is a branch of subclavian artery, it ascends in front of the foramen transversarium, and then it enters from the C6 cervical vertebral foramen transversarum, ascends upward. So the foramen transversarum of the vertebra prominens is not occupied by the vertebral artery or vertebral vein, but here it is traversed by the accessory vertebral vein. Anterior tubercle of the 6th cervical vertebra is prominent and is known as carotid tubercle. Here in front of it we can compress the carotid artery, common carotid artery. So this is the carotid tubercle.